So, this is my review of Airborn by Kenneth Oppel. This book, like I said before, is basically just your perfect adventure. It's extremely suspenseful, and of course, things work out in the end. It wasn't terribly predictable. I mean, obviously everyone's going to be okay, but they would get main character Matt Cruz and secondary character, if you want to call it that, Kate DeVry, will get put in situations where you basically have no idea how they're going to get out. You know they're going to, you just don't know how. That's what I like about it, I guess, just the extreme suspense. But, anyway, Matt Cruz is a cabin boy on an airship called the Aurora, and the Aurora is like basically a flying hotel. People get from one side of the ocean to the other, while enjoying the luxuries of this exquisite airship. And it's basically a really cool sounding lifestyle. So he's always up in the crow's nest, and he'll spot storms and other airships and all that sort of stuff. Cabin boy is basically one of the lowest jobs on the ship, unfortunately, and throughout the book he's sort of talking about how he wants to just improve his position there, and he's really close with the captain. Well, not close, but he just gets along with the captain. Captain, drawing a blank here. Anyway, he's a nice guy. So, and then what ends up happening is the owner of the airship line, his son is put on their ship, and he doesn't like airships, he doesn't want to have anything to do with them, but he's put in the position that that Matt wanted to take. So he's stuck as cabin boy, and he could be transferred to another boat, but another ship. But the Aurora is the ship that his dad used to work on, so he feels like there's sort of a connection. So he sticks with the Aurora, and then Kate DeVry comes on, and she's this upper class rich girl, except she sort of has a more adventurous side, and she's on the ship. Basically she hopes to make some scientific discoveries to find what her grandfather discovered, these creatures that are sort of like panthers with wings, tigers with wings, and she just hopes to spot some on her journey. So, anyway, the ship gets taken over by pirates, and they crash land extremely conveniently on the island that her grandfather sighted, and they finally end up seeing one of these cloud cats, as Matt and her call them, and, naturally, she gets along really well with Matt and vice versa, and he starts falling for her, but deep down he knows it would never work since she's rich and he's not, and their personalities, well, they seem to clash. I mean, they're sort of opposite. Matt's always like, oh, you shouldn't be doing that, and then she just goes off and does something crazy. But her lifestyle that she's looking for, she basically just wants to explore and make scientific discoveries, and Matt just wants to stay on this airship. So, it's sort of iffy, but, and then, of course, the island they're on is also the main base for the pirates, which is extremely inconvenient. And so the ship, while it's being repaired, Matt discovers that there's some gas on the island they can use to bring the ship back up to its original levels, and they're about to take off, and then the pirates show up, and they, sort of hold everyone captive. And then Matt and Kate and Bruce, who's the airline owner's son, they sort of try to save everyone, and of course they do, and everyone's happy except Bruce dies. He's probably not very happy, but and so it's just like good, happy, classic ending. And then at the end, Kate is doing this presentation about her discoveries of these cloud cats, and then Matt goes to talk to her, and of course they get along just like they did before, and everything's happy. And well, after reading the series, I kind of wish it ended right there. Because the first book was great. I think it just had this classic feel to it. The second book was better. It was a lot more serious, more stressful, more intense. It was nerve-wracking, and I loved it. And the third book, which came out just a couple months ago, was the best one by far, in my opinion. Everyone else hated it. I've checked forum stuff. Everyone hated it. I thought it was the best one by miles. Except the ending. I'm not going to ruin it for you, because maybe a couple of you who read this might want to actually move on in the series, but the ending was so unbearable. I couldn't stand it. Like, the thing is, when I read the third book, I had no idea this was meant to be a trilogy. Didn't say anything about a trilogy. I read the last book, the description didn't say, you know, the final chapter of Matt Cruz's adventures. No, it just like, you know, see what happens in this book. It's the sequel to Skybreaker. Okay, so I read Star Climber, and, you know, it was over with, and I was like, you know, oh wow, what a great book, what a great ending. And I looked online, and I found out that was the ending to the series, and I was like, wow, what a horrible ending. I mean, it's just one of those endings where it's like the author's like, let's let the reader decide what happens. No, you're being lazy. Tell us what happens. So, just gotta warn you guys, if you go on to continue the series, it just gets better and better, and then the ending of the third book, oh man, it's still driving me crazy, and I finished that book weeks ago. But, if any of you have read the series and you want to, you know, actually get a discussion about the third book, please do. But, okay, off topic again. Back to Airborn. So, the thing that really appeals to me about this book is the characters and how believable they are. I mean, sure, there's a couple sort of cheesy lines every once in a while, but it's nothing too bad. Otherwise, they're just the sort of people that you feel like you could walk into the book and shake hands with them and you would know them like you've known them for years, like they're a close friend. So, other than that, it's pretty basic writing style. I mean, the descriptions are okay. They're nothing stunning. The plot is actually really good. Progresses nicely, but for me, it's just the characters just stand out. They're so real. In fact, I know a couple people who remind me of Kate, which was cool. But, and again, as the books go on, the characters just develop further and further, and they get more and more believable, more real. Except, the only problem I have with this series, and this is the problem I have with pretty much any book I've ever read, the main character is boring. Matt Cruz, I don't know, he makes some stupid decisions sometimes. Sure, I can relate to him. He seems like a nice guy, but sometimes he'll have these outbursts I just don't agree with, and it's like, Matt, what the hell are you doing? And like I said, especially in the third book, sometimes I just want to grab him by the shoulders and be like, you're an idiot. But otherwise, he's okay. But, you know, Kate obviously is an extremely likable character. She just has a really cool personality. And the antagonist, Spurs Glass, is also, he's one of those bad guys that's likable. He's like really smart, sort of cunning, and he's just, you know, he's a cool guy, but he's evil. And he even mentioned that he doesn't like to kill people. He's like, I only kill people when I have to, which is most of the time, so he kills a lot of people. But, that's pretty much this book in a nutshell. It's a fantastic, fantastic series. Just brace yourself for that ending, because it's, oh, so bad. So the next book I think we're gonna read is, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I think I'd like to read Twilight. I haven't seen the movie, I haven't read the book, I know what it's about, I know the characters' names, and all my friends in school, all my female friends anyway, think it's just the best thing ever, it's the best book ever. And young adult books tend to have lacking writing style. I've never read a young adult book that had a really profound writing style. Maybe the only exception is the Mortal Engines Quartet, but otherwise, I don't expect much out of it, and I can't judge a book without reading it. I did read like the first chapter. I noticed it didn't flow, and I already hate Bella, so off to a bad start. But maybe it's a little bit better than I think it is. I mean, there's a website where this guy posted a collection of cheesy quotes from Twilight, and all books have cheesy lines. I don't know why they put them in there. No one likes cheesy lines, but there was an unusual amount of them. There's an exceptional amount of cheesy quotes, which hopefully won't be too much for me to take, but we'll see. So, if you've already read it, you don't have to read it again. Obviously, we can just discuss it. If you don't want to read it, don't. I mean, I can understand why you wouldn't want to read such a popular book. It feels like it's been a long time since there's a really popular young adult series, so, you know, why not give it a shot? Well, let's hope it's better than I think it is, because my expectations are pretty darn low right now. I normally don't like girly books very much, or, I mean, it's not like there are that many, like, guy-oriented books out there. In fact, I can't really name any. But, I don't like gender-based books, I guess. So I'm out of time, but thanks for watching.